Let's talk NFC.
Let's do it.
This matchup, the NFC East, all division clash. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Commanders. The Eagles, 3 straight years in deep playoff runs. Nick Sirianni has an unbelievable record as head coach, whether the city love him or not, right? They're hosting another NFC Championship game. On the other side of things, the resurgent Washington Commanders, 4-13 last year. True worst to first stuff for them to go out, get the quarterback, get a head coach who, let's remember, was the last head coach hired in last year's cycle, who was an unpopular choice, who they desperately wanted, Ben Johnson, and didn't get it.
Who the Dallas Cowboys let go. That's what I love. The Dallas Cowboys could have promoted Dan Quinn and had the right head coach. They let him go to a division rival, and now he's 1 win away from the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. That is the best story in the NFL right now, Will.
So, everything that feeds into this game is unreal. They split the regular season as well. That second game in overtime was chef's kiss stuff. But really, what comes down to more than anything else is going to be that Eagles defense, imperious last weekend against the Rams for 3 quarters, going up against Jayden Daniels, who at this point, I think might be having the best rookie quarterback season of all time. Like, of all time.
Of all time.
That is a huge statement to make. And I think if he wins on Sunday, I think he takes that moniker.
So if he wins on Sunday, if he's in the Super Bowl, I will change my vote. Right now, I have a few people ahead of him. Everyone has forgotten. And even when I say this, I'm like, wait, did this really happen? Like, did this really happen? And not that recent NFL history, not that long NFL history, Dak Prescott had a rookie season that you look at the numbers and what he did is absolutely unbelievable. Dak Prescott with Ezekiel Elliott, they're both rookies. That's the best the Cowboys have ever been in the last 30 years. They ended up fading in the playoffs and had some bad luck. I will take Dak Prescott. There's actually a Washington quarterback who is everyone's forgotten, who was really good not that long ago as a rookie, RG3, Robert Griffin III. Couple other guys, Russell Wilson had an incredible rookie season.
Really great.
Cam Newton actually had, stats-wise, Cam Newton, 4,000-plus yards, 700 running yards, absolutely incredible. But that was mostly regular season, Will. And I do agree with you that if Jayden Daniels, I don't care what he does, he could throw up 150 yards. He could pull a Patrick Mahomes and throw for 177. If they win that game on the road, so you're going to say you're going to beat Detroit, number 1 seed, at Ford Field on the road, and smoke the Lions. You're going to beat the Eagles in Philly and make the Super Bowl as a rookie quarterback? Are you kidding me? Like, he will be, hands down, best rookie season by a quarterback of all time. But he's got to win that game. And there's, you mentioned everything, and everything you said is 100%. There's a name you didn't mention that I think is the key to this game. And he knows Patrick Mahomes pretty well. He could be playing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury, who could have gone to the Raiders, by the way, who had that job. And no one wants to go to the Raiders. Do you notice that?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, has the Caleb Williams ties USC, was at Texas Tech and developed Patrick Mahomes. Head coach with Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals, takes time off, doesn't need to coach, comes back, and basically last minute takes that Washington job. What he has been able to do with Jayden Daniels in terms of minimizing everything. He hasn't said, like, I'm going to give you this playbook that's this big. He's going to put everything basically on a note card and slow it down. And then Jayden Daniels can process so quickly, and he's taken everything from LSU and the Heisman. I was doing a story on Jayden Daniels for talkSPORT. Jayden Daniels, at the age of 13 years old, this was 11 years ago, tweeted that one day everyone's going to know who I am. Now, a lot of 13-year-olds might tweet that. Nobody becomes Jayden Daniels except Jayden Daniels. He has it. But Cliff Kingsbury has been able to find a way to get the best out of him but not overload it. They don't have great wide receivers. It's not like they have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They don't have great running backs. They don't have Saquon Barkley. His numbers are insane, but I want to see what Cliff Kingsbury is able to design up for him to find a way around that Philly pass rush, because they're going to come after him, but with screens, with short passes, with trying to stretch the field, that whole combination. I think Cliff Kingsbury is the key for this game for Washington to win in Philly.
See, it's fascinating because I don't disagree with you, and I have been one of the big Cliff Kingsbury doubters because you named all those people that he developed in college. He also had losing seasons with Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes.
He's not a head coach.
Yes. Like he wasn't actually, like, he in theory was a great play designer, but not a great play caller. And so there's a lot of, I still have my doubts about Cliff Kingsbury, but I think he has had his best year this year by a country mile. But to come back to the kind of Jayden Daniels conversation about where he stands all time, and I'm going to mention 2 other names because I think if we don't, people will kind of come for us with pitchforks. it was before my time, but Dan Marino's rookie season stands up for an all-timer.
Dan Marino, that's a bit of a misnomer, though, because I was pulling these stats yesterday doing research.
Love it.
Dan Marino had incredible numbers, but he made the Super Bowl in his second year. Dan Marino, as a rookie, he wasn't a week 1 starter. Dan Marino, I think, went 9-2 as a rookie. Very, very good, but it's not like he was week 1 to the Super Bowl, which Jayden Daniels is doing.
And Andrew Luck's the other guy from recent
years. Andrew
years.
Luck had an incredible rookie year.
You mentioned RG3, and look, RG3, what he did in Washington, sensational, and a horrible ending to that season, the injury, the lost playoff game, everything else. The reason that I am holding Jayden Daniels in such high esteem is because it doesn't actually make sense to me that he's this good. He is slender. He is, like, in his early part of the colleges, he didn't look that great in the pocket. His arm didn't look as lithe as it does now. And he's done this amazing thing. You talked about what Cliff Kingsbury did with the processing. He does this thing where he watches game film back on a VR headset and he watches it sped up to 1.75 times so that he's having to read the defense, moving 75% faster than they normally would.
So he's basically Neo in the Matrix,
exactly.
right? Like the whole world, bullets are coming at him, and he's like doing the slow-mo thing.
And there is an incredible play that he makes in that game with the Lions where they bring the blitz pressure off the right edge, and he makes a downfield throw. I think it's Terry McLaurin on the outside, down at about the 5-yard line, and he sees the running back is going to go and pick up the blitz, and he spots the blitzer, and you can see, like, the way he's looking, you can watch him picking these things up. The way he rolled out of the pocket, sensed the pressure, felt exactly where it was going to come from, knew the point he could get to, made the exact perfect throw into the bread bin. I'm watching that and I'm saying, I don't care who's coaching this person up. This guy's got the pocket presence and the awareness and the ability to read a game like a 10-year veteran. Like, those are the things you don't see guys doing in their rookie season.
So compare Jayden Daniels versus Jared Goff, who has been in the Super Bowl before, so polished, so experienced, so efficient, and Jared Goff versus the Commanders is turning the ball over, throwing picks. Jayden Daniels looked like Tom Brady out there running Belichick's system. For me, Jayden Daniels Jayden Daniels to me is a reminder that we're all getting old, that we're not in charge, that the world's changing, that if you think you're hip and cool, you're not, because there's a 10-year-old who's already got it figured out and is way ahead of you. And I'm very serious about that. Think about this. So he went to Arizona State, right? Didn't really make it there, had to transfer, goes to LSU, Heisman Trophy winner. But Caleb, we're going to talk about the Bears and Caleb Williams. Well, Caleb Williams is a guy. Jayden Daniels, okay, that's cool, but we're all focused on Caleb Williams. No, and then he gets Cliff Kingsbury, he gets the Washington Commanders, organization that was a disaster, new owner, Josh Harris, new coach Dan Quinn, but it all came down to Jayden Daniels because he's so smooth. He can process. He's got the swagger. I was going through all of his old tweets as I was doing research on him. There's a quarterback that I want to mention. I know this is kind of murky territory. Jayden Daniels was a huge, huge Deshaun Watson fan. I'm not talking about Cleveland Browns Deshaun Watson. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson when he was going to be the new face of the NFL with the Houston Texans during the good old days when Deshaun Watson, as a rookie, put up insane numbers before he had his injury, when it was Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and who was better? Jayden Daniels, and I mean this is the highest compliment because Deshaun Watson now is not the same thing. But Jayden Daniels reminds me of Deshaun Watson when Deshaun Watson was incredible. Not so much the dual threat, but he was silky, smooth. He had the swagger. He had the precision. You're like, oh my gosh, like this guy's ready to do it now. That's Jayden Daniels, but we all overlooked him. He was putting up these insane numbers, and I'm the same way. How is he doing this? Is he really this good? Oh, yeah, he just smoked the Lions at Ford Field. He is this good.
Remember how last week we sat here and we watched my terrible preseason predictions?
I don't remember that at all.
Go and watch the video. It's available at talkSPORT End Zone. I picked the Jags to be in the AFC Championship game. That's how badly this went for me. So, I also sat there on draft night on talkSPORT 2, and as much as I love the Caleb Williams picks, it was the right pick.
You had to make the pick, yes.
I was a huge Drake May fan coming to this draft, and actually personally had Drake May above Jayden Daniels on my kind of big board. Not that I'm an expert, but from my perspective, if I was drafting, he was the guy I was looking at.